Welcome to this shortwave radio channel, and of course we're going to talk about the new XHDATA or SIHUADON D808 full review compared to the old one. Now if you're here and you say, well, this is not a review, you haven't played with it yet, look at the other videos where I'm listening to stuff. A review is not playing with the radio. A review is giving your full knowledge of what this is and how it compares to the original and how well it works with the knowledge I have. So we, of course, have a new one. This is a redesigned circuit board on the latest versions. And, of course, I saw a lot of people ranting at it or not. And you know what? I think too many people are ranting at things that aren't really there. Some ranting that I've seen, I think, are just anti-China ranting. Just don't buy stuff that comes from China. I don't go by that. This is the official review. If you have the original one, okay, you do have a radio that is great. And how many times did I play with the radio, make videos, and tell you that if you have to buy one, well, that was on top. That was one of the radios on top of the world. In terms of money, performance, features, what you get, this is just amazing. So this one I've had for years. And of course, we came across the fact that a lot of people started talking about, oh, there's a new one, and apparently the circuit board is different. And I've shown you the circuit board of both radios in a video. I want to thank once again Dave's radio receiver page, N9EWO. Please go to that page if you want to see amazing reviews. And you know what? He's got a link where you can actually donate. I would tell you to donate to that guy. He really deserves it. Very extensive reviews, beautiful reviews. He makes, it takes a lot of time, and he's got so many radios and transceivers that he also talks about in terms of radio shortwave receivers. Great place, okay? Go there, please. So, what do I think after my testing? Well, first of all, there's one simple way to know if you got a new one or not. And it's all going down to one simple thing. The USB port. If your USB port is a C connector, which is a oval shaped connector, you get a new one. If you've got the micro USB, which is oval, but it's not, it has one side that is a little smaller than the other on the oval side. Well, this one, the oval side is, the same. So USB-C, you got a new one. Micro USB, you got an old one. Even if you bought it a year ago or 6 months ago, you still have the original one. So you've seen maybe the video where I actually show you the circuit board, thanks to, once again, N9EWO for the picture and the comments on the picture. One of the things that I can say is that the original one has a set of front-end filters that are not on the new one. And that, could mean, well, you've lowered the quality of it. In some ways, a little bit, because, yeah, that front end has one change that I've noticed. Here, where I live, FM breakthrough is often a problem. FM stations are extremely powerful. So if the radio doesn't have a good front end to cope with the strong FM signals on the FM radio band, well, they pop up on shortwave. And I've got a lot of radios that it just pops up on shortwave and it's bad, including expensive radios like the Sangean ATS 909X2. And the first thing I noticed while playing is, yeah, okay, I got a little bit of FM breakthrough on the new one. I don't have it on the original one. So that front end helps, definitely. But you know what? It's not that bad. And what I mean by that is the front end should still be there, but it's not. And it's not that bad because I have radios of the same price or even more expensive that have much worse FM breakthrough. So there is FM breakthrough. If you're in an area where strong FM signals do that on your radios, you're going to have a little bit of it on this new version. But I can cope with it, because if that would be the first time I'd purchased a D808, I'd mention it, but I wouldn't mention it in a big negative way, because you can cope with it easily compared to other radios. And sometimes just changing the radio, putting it 1 feet apart, and then the FM breakthrough goes away. That is really the negative I've found between the two of them. Because if you remove that, I can't see a difference between both. In performance and the listening to stations, signals, and so on. Don't take too much the audio aspect of it, because one thing that is in my videos is, they're not scientific. Meaning that, I compare both, but one has maybe the volume a little higher than the other. So if you say, the AGC seems to punch more on one or the other, no, it could simply be because my volume was higher on one or the other. The bandwidth on some of the videos, I think the bandwidth's different. Sounds better on this or that. Bandwidth might be different. Here, with my ears and listening, there really isn't any difference in the performance and the level of signal, both in SSB or on standard, AM mode international broadcast bands. Medium wave is pretty much equal on both. The internal ferrite seems to perform as well on both. Long wave seems to be deaf on both, because I've seen people say, on the new one, the long wave is great. No, it's not. It drops off exactly at the same place that the original drops off. It's as if they just copied the circuit and made it more into a chip or something, and it just performs exactly the same. Long wave on the D808 on my original is rather bad. It's bad on a few that I've seen. Some people have confirmed it. It's bad on the new one too. I don't think there is a good long wave version. If there is, it's because you're not listening to the frequencies where it's bad, because it drops off at a specific point. So below about 270-ish kilohertz, 260 kilohertz, it just drops off from being okay to deaf. And both exhibit the same thing. And to test it, I actually used interference, because sometimes it can be useful. I put it close to something that creates a lot of buzz, and I went down on the original, I went down on the new one. They drop off and become deaf exactly at the same place. So I suspect that every D808 is like that. Are there differences apart from, like in performance? I tell you, I don't see much. I don't see really any difference. There are differences in a few things that I've noticed. For example, on the new one, the signal to noise ratio that is in the display is quicker. It refreshes faster than the original. So that's one thing. In single sideband, the fine-tuning is reversed. So if you're going upwards with the original, you'll go downwards with the new one. Is that a big problem? Not really. As long as you can fine-tune your SSB signal. And we're not talking about a receiver that, on some of the Texan receivers, it is a problem because it's not a fine-tune. It's tuning precisely with the display. And that is a problem if you're reversed, because it doesn't show the right frequency. But in this case, these radios show only to the kilohertz. So whether you're fine-tuning up or fine-tuning down, it doesn't change anything. You're just trying to find the correct voice. Once you've used to which one it is, it works. Audio is pretty much the same, except that on the new one, it might be a little less powerful. So when you put the volume to the max, the original seems to be a little louder than the original. So that could be something that can play, but not by much. They're still pretty powerful. And the thing that is the most weird on them is the speed at which the switch to SSB is. So if you are in AM mode, so here I'm in AM mode, and I press SSB, the time that it takes for it to get to SSB is this. But look at the original one. It's extremely slow. That is maybe a little bit of a problem, but then again, you just have to wait for the switch. So here's the switch for the new one. Look at how slow it is compared to the original. This is crazy. I don't know why it's slower. I don't know what they changed for this to be so slow. On external antennas, they perform the same, and even, I know I'm not going to say it officially, but I even find that the new one seems to overload less than the old one. But more tests are going to have to be done. A couple of times I had the impression that in the background, the old one on my MLA30, I could hear a little something from some other stations that were strong, which I would not hear on the new one. That would be a positive thing on the new one. But let's say they're pretty much equal. So good on external antenna, good performers. And the verdict that I have to say, SSB is great, FM's great, medium wave works fantastic, long wave, like I said, kind of deaf below about 260, 70 kilohertz. And of course there's the airband, and the airband seems to work great. I punched in a couple of VHF frequencies, both received well. So my verdict is simple. If you're waiting for me to tell you if you're going to buy a new one or not, go ahead. This is still a great radio. They redesigned it. They removed the front end, yes, but it's still a great radio. And it's still worth its money. And I would not hesitate tomorrow if I had to buy a new one to get the new one. I wouldn't have any problem with that. So, yes, the new one is great. It's very close, pretty much similar to the original. FM breakthrough is the only little thing that I've seen, and a few of the little quirks that I told you about in its actual functioning, but great radios. So if you got a new one, be happy. If you want to buy a new one, buy it. It's still my top recommendation in what you could buy as a good shortwave radios today. And it's just cool to see that at the price that we pay for these, you get all the performance that you get out of those. This is just fantastic. So buy it. Don't hesitate. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe. Give us thumbs up. And you know what? Thanks for watching.